You're listening to Zaria's Cafe Corner. Good. Oh, hello. Good evening. How are you guys doing today? Welcome in. I hope you guys are doing well. I know that today is a bit of a unusual timing, but I hope you guys have been doing well. Welcome on in, and welcome to today's Mother's Day special edition of Zaria's Cafe Corner episode number 4. Thank you guys so much for dropping in today, guys. Just an FYI for our guests ahead that we're going to be introducing. If you have any questions, concerns, or anything you would like to ask our guests, feel free to drop them in the chat, and we will take a look. Sunny and I are currently sharing chats, so if you are typing Sunny's chat or my chat, it will still go through to either one of us. And we also have another guest as well, but I'll let you introduce. I'll actually let them introduce themselves. Just want to make sure that, are we good for sound? Waiting to talk because picking up my mic on both streams. Check. Yes, we're good. Yes. Okay. Actually, you know what? Let's let them unmute themselves. Let's give them a chance to talk and great chat here. Our guests today are Kiyo and Sunny. Hello.
Hello.
Can chat hear them?
Hopefully they can hear us.
I believe so.
Just making sure.
Send me a ping here in chat if you can hear all of us.
Yes. Okay, we got a yes from my side.
I got a yee from my side.
All right. Welcome in, ladies. Thank you so much for being here today, especially on Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to both of you. I hope you guys had the most amazing day. But before we get started, I'll give you guys the floor. Or sorry, guys. Why am I saying guys? Ladies, the floor to introduce yourselves.
Oh, go ahead, Kiyo.
All right. My name is Kiyo. I met Zaria through Yushin, and moving on to the topic while we're here, my son Cody is 21 and autistic.
Thank you, Kiyo. And Sunny?
Hi, my name's Sunny. I met Zaria through Jay and Nico. Many thanks to that. Wonderful to meet you. And for this topic, I am a VTuber, streamer with a 4-year-old. So, little baby.
Oh, itty little bitty one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm just gonna say I'm not a mother myself, but I am a godmother, and I have 3 nephews, 2 years apart from each other, 8, 6, and 4. Does that validate me? Am I good for today?
I think it does. Absolutely.
I mean, I told Nico when she told me Happy Mother's Day earlier today, I said it back to her. I said, fur babies count. It's still a baby.
Right?
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for being here to be able to really talk about what it means to be a mother and also the different topics we're going to be talking about today. Just an FYI for chat who has not been familiar with Sunny or Kiyo. So they mentioned a lot about how they met me. Sunny and I it's been a while since we met. I actually can't exactly pinpoint an exact moment, but Sunny's an absolute wonderful person to work with. Just a few weeks ago, we actually did Sunny's VTuber debut and bartended for it through Enchante. So it was really fun to really do that. And just, I think a lot of prep work went into it. So I just want to say congratulations on that as well.
Thank you. I appreciate having you there. It was a blast. It was an absolute blast to be able to work with everybody and put such a big production together. So couldn't have done it without you. Thank you.
Honestly, thank you so much for giving us that opportunity to be able to work for you through that event. Also, speaking of working with people, we also have worked with Kiyo through a number of our events. You might have seen them through our last event, which was the International Women's Day. Also through our ceremony where we had someone shouting for us. That was actually Kiyo for those of you guys who were here on stream that day, or even in the game, where we had a little bit of trouble with booking our venue. So we ended up having our ceremony out in the open world in Gridania at the amphitheater. So Kiyo was an amazing person to be able to work with and help us through every single bit of it. And has been also an amazing friend as well, to really help through all of this. So thank you, Kiyo, for also gracing us with your presence for today.
No problem.
So without further ado, as just a reminder to chat, if you need to ask questions, feel free to drop them in chat. Usually I have channel point redeems, but today there is none. So chat is free to roam around and cause chaos, and if you'd like to really ask what questions as long as they're, I guess, not super inappropriate, notwithstanding. But I know we talked a little bit about how we met each other. Let's talk a little bit about yourselves, if you have a moment to really give us a rundown about who you are and why chat needs to know about you.
Feel free to go first, Kiyo. I think this will be the order.
I mean, I can go first. That's not a problem.
Sure.
Okay. About me personally, or with the child?
You can
Because
do
with me
both.
personally, the biggest thing that I would say is I'm a chatterbox. If I have the right topic to talk about, I will talk your ear off. If I go quiet, somebody's in trouble. Usually it's Yushin. Yes, I had to say it. I am a stay-at-home mom with him. Play Final Fantasy is my main game. I play everything else. I am starting to try to schedule out a more consistent stream schedule. I write. I'm trying to learn how to draw. I crochet. I knit. Yeah,
Thank
those
you.
are all the basic important points.
The lore about Kiyo.
I mean, the only other thing I would say, and there are several people, Yushin's in chat, he could absolutely verify it for me.
We can also dive in.
His issues aren't as bad as some others. The only other thing I would say about myself is when it comes to what I do and do not let him do, I base it completely on what I would or would not do.
Mm-hmm.
And I love violence and gore in video games. Resident Evil is one of my favorite series to watch, and he loves watching it. He'll walk around pretending like he's shooting a gun.
Sunny?
Okay. Hello, I'm Sunny. So I guess things about me. Right. I'm not a single mom, but I've been kind of living the single mom life right now. My husband was deployed out last April, so it's been a little over a year now. Pretty much because economy right now is causing families to sort of break apart to make ends meet, which is unfortunate. But it's been able to help him further his career, and I've been very supportive of that. So as a result, I live in the middle of the country in the forest. It sounds weird. I live in a 100-year-old home. So I maintain that myself. I do everything here myself. I'm kind of isolated because my family's all the way on the West Coast and my in-laws are on the East Coast. I'm caught dead in the middle. So I've been, the fixer-upper, the plumber, the technician, the mom, the chef, the laundry, the gardener, the everything. I've been a jack of all trades in that respect. All the while, I've been juggling a business degree, which I actually just finished up today. Huzzah, I just turned in my final today. So I'm a dual major with anthropology and now business. and I've been trying to learn how to further my career with that. Um, I guess a little more about me on a personal level. I have hobbies with art. I did tournament boxing for over 12 years. I played in symphonic quartet, um, chamber. Gosh, I've done all sorts of music that I traveled the California coast for, and I stopped that when I hit college. So um, I've kind of done a little bit of everything, and I'm actually in the process of going to be relocating to the East Coast here soon. Um,
Yay.
and I'm looking forward to getting more involved with like the Smithsonian and museums and a lot of historical stuff out there. So just that's where my interests lie. And I do have a 4-year-old that I'm mom to, that I've been very blessed with. He's my rainbow child. So for those of you that don't know that term, that's when you have unfortunately gone through a series of pregnancies and lost them, and you finally do get one that goes to full term. So he's something of a special kid to me. So
Thank you both for giving
I
that
mean, that's
introduction.
perfectly understandable too.
Mhm.
thank you.
Mm.
Thank you for giving us a chance to learn more about you guys. I think like it's one thing to really see, see your in voice chat or even in on stream. I don't think we have had a chance to really touch much on those. And I remember Sunny saying that you don't really say much about yourself, that you really keep kind of a lot of this information. So a lot of this has really been like in a way eye opening to really understand what you're going through as a mom. And just an FYI for chat, unfortunately, like not unfortunately, but like we weren't able to get any moms that have a daughter. So I understand that there is a bit of a change of perspective based on whether you're raising a boy or raising a girl. Just want to let Chad know that I had tried my best to do that, so it wasn't really biased on that sort of aspect. But to have the perspective of these two moms to really talk about their experience in motherhood is really awe-inspiring. We do have a question in chat from JVC. What have been some of your fun moments with your son?
Oh, let's see. Gosh, we get up to shenanigans a lot. I have come to realize I'm that kind of mom, um, where I'm not very limiting on what we do, because to me, like, the world is his oyster, and I'm having to fill the role of both parents. So we have done things like, gosh, oh my gosh, there's been so many things. We go to, I do a lot of museum tours. So, like, the haunted houses and stuff, not like Halloween haunted houses, but like the actual real deal kind of thing where we go and see historical stuff a lot. Aquariums. He loves aquariums. That has been a big thing. We recently just took a trip to FanFest, and I took the entire week. I didn't just do the weekend. So that way we were able to go to the beach. We were able to go to a bunch of restaurants together. And it's always just him and I. And I think that's the big thing, is I like to do a lot of mommy baby dates. So they live paranormal cleanup one. Okay. That's a big one. My son loves spooky games, and I have been very, very blessed with a group community here online, Final Fantasy, where people are very supportive of the fact that I juggle streaming with my son, because it's hard to maintain a 4-year-old while you're trying to have these kind of conversations.
Mm-hmm.
So there are times where I'm doing homework and Nathaniel will pull up a spooky game and play it on my other screen, just so he can hang out with my son a little bit while I am doing homework or trying to get a project done, just so there's like a split focus where I'm still spending time with him and we're hanging out and reacting to stuff, but it's also allowing me the capability to get things done. He really loves to sit here and watch Jay, Nico, Nathaniel play spooky games, and he gives the monsters different names. Like one of them's called Booty Butt because it crawls on the ground.
Oh my goodness.
So he'll ask me routinely, like, "Hey, can we see Booty Butt? Can we play spooky games?" That is a highlight for me, is him having that village, because we really don't have that in person. So to have that even in a digital world is very unique and special to me. And I would say those are some of his best times, is being able to talk and communicate with some of the respectable and honest adults that I've been able to make relationships with. And I think that that's the important part, is knowing that they look out for him too.
Oh, happy hi Nico. Hi mom. Happy Mother's Day to you too. She's like my Twitch mom, so basically like she's already adopted and she's already like stuck with me as her daughter at this point. But as well, happy Mother's.
Let's be fair, we really don't need to get into the adopted family tree that you
Oh
started.
yeah,
we really don't need to get into that.
That's a thing on its own. That's okay. We'll have to do like a whole like sit down for that on its own. And I can see
If we do something like that, you better block off like 5 hours.
Yeah,
we're gonna need to know where I fit in this family tree, Jay. I haven't found out yet.
It just became like one child, and then next thing you know, it became like
he's got like 15 at this point.
I remember just like being told the next day, I'm like, so you have a sister? I'm like, what?
Whoop.
He tells me, you have a new niece, you have a new this. I'm only remember the names of a few of them. You got too many of them.
Oh geez. Well, speaking of being parent and like having kids and all that whatnot, I do want to talk a little bit about, we were talking about a bit about gaming. How do you find time to game while being a parent? Because I know Kiyo, I have a nephew who is also autistic, and he is either needs a lot of attention or he can be by on his own. And Sunny, like my nephews are all young, but like I'm not with them as much as you guys would be with you two would be with your sons. So I want to know, like, how do you find time in all of that?
Like for me, it's easy enough because of his age.
Mm-hmm.
He is 21.
Mm-hmm.
Though mentally, because he does have a moderate to severe case of infantile autism,
Mm-hmm.
mentally, even last year, he was evaluated. Mentally, he's only about 5 years old.
Okay.
But he has very specific things that he likes, that as long as he has them, he couldn't care less what I'm doing 90% of the time. He as long as he has his TV, so he can watch his judge shows, because my child doesn't watch cartoons. He doesn't watch music videos. He doesn't watch stuff like that on TV. He wants to watch Judge Judy, Judge Joe Brown, Judge Mathis, Judge Million, People's Court, Divorce Court, Paternity Court. If there's a court show on TV, he is watching it. So as long as he has that, and his YouTube, because he does like YouTube, but when he watches YouTube, he watches the ending credits of movies.
Oh, that's interesting.
So as long as he has that, I will not hear from him for hours at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But because he is 21, if he needs something, like he still drinks out of a sippy cup, and because of the autism and the sensory issues, he gets a prescription of Pediasure every month to keep his count up. We still push food every day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm lucky if he tastes anything.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets the Pediasure to keep his calorie count up and his vitamins and whatnot.
Okay.
When he needs a new one of those put in his cup, he'll bring me his cup, and then he'll go get a can of the Pediasure and he'll bring me that. I do it as I'm handing each one back to him, because he goes throws the can in the garbage and takes his cup in his room. Thank you. Thank you. All right, thank you. All right, bye. Who cares? Forget about it. And he walks out of the room like I don't exist anymore.
Oh wow. So would you? I heard there's like different levels of autism as well.
Yes.
Where
Many different levels.
have they graded what level he falls under?
As far as there's mild, which has its own variations,
Mm-hmm.
moderate, and severe. Those are the three main levels. When you get into a level, That's when it gets broken down, but it doesn't get broken down like, okay, you can do more stuff than this one, so you're level 2 and they're level 1. It's more it's more person based
Mm-hmm.
than that. They do have a broad thing of mild, moderate, severe, as far as people who are more mild are much more higher functioning. You can have full conversations with them. Some of them have careers, and you'd never know they were autistic by talking to them, but they
Mm-hmm.
are. The mild to severe ones are the ones that are like my son, where he will talk, but
Mm-hmm.
90% of what he's saying, he's scripting from TV shows, YouTube videos, or what he hears other people say.
Okay.
Um, and then you have the more severe kids that are people that are autistic, where they won't look at you. You can't hug them. You can't touch them. They refuse to talk. They refuse to have anything to do with anything that you want them to do. They want their own little structure, and they will not deviate out of that. Cody falls halfway between the moderate and severe ones, because he will love on me. He's very loving. He'll make eye contact, but he has no conception. Just like a 5-year old, he has no conception, oh, that's going to hurt me if I do that. I was standing at my driveway and my neighbor's driveway are right across from each other. I was standing at the end of her driveway talking to her while he was playing on a swing a few years ago. And I'm looking at her, I'm talking to her. Next thing I know, I'm being touched, and I look over and he's standing there. I didn't even know it. He just got up off the swing and walked straight across a very busy road. He
Oh
has
wow.
no conception of anything, but as long as he's in his house and he's got his judge shows, his ending credits, and his PlayStation 5.
Mm-hmm.
He has his own PlayStation, and the only thing he does is he'll turn it on, he'll hit to log in, and it'll be on the home screen, and he just sits and watches the home screen.
Oh wow.
When it comes to actual video games, he'd rather watch me do it than do it himself.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
that's
Sunny.
similar. I I would say it's a little different for me. In the sense of like the whole reason I brought a VTuber on board, because I didn't always VTube. I did show my face before. I did have that big face reveal during my streams and DJing. Um, but the problem I have is that my son likes to watch and interact a lot. So he runs in, and oftentimes you'll see little baby fingers on the screen. And I've been very protective of his ability to be private and respecting that boundary for him, because I want him to be able to be old enough to say, "Hey, mom, I'm okay with you showing me," and allowing his identity to be known, because there's just so many, like, I've had my fair share of interactions with people and uh, things growing up that have been difficult, and you just have to be careful with the people you know, and stranger danger is a real thing. So I try to protect him as much as I can. But to be able to afford the time to play games and what have you, I actually don't allow my son a lot of screen time. Um, we have a full library in our house. So I try to endorse him to color, to read. He has a lot of leapfrog activities and books. Um, Only recently did I try getting him into like Minecraft and learning how to
Oh
jump
jeez.
with that. So like using the space bar and like learning alongside with him.
Mm-hmm.
Or if he is watching TV, it's a lot of like Magic School Bus or documentaries with David Attenborough, or just things where I feel like when he's done, he can come back to me and tell me what he learned.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been really big on like, there's one on Netflix called Crunch Labs where they do a lot of science and experiments
Mm-hmm.
and like robotics and what have you. So he sits there and like he'll chain that over and over and over, and that's like his favorite. Um, or for me, I try to segment my time. I try not to do more than like maybe 2-3 hours in one sitting. because he still needs the attention of, I've got to cook dinner, I've got to take care of other responsibilities, and he'll come knocking on the door and be like, "Hey mom, can you get me some water or some juice or a snack?" And I'll be able to tap out really quick, since I have the model, to go and take care of that really quickly and help him out if he's so needs that. Otherwise, he's pretty self-sufficient, I would say, for a 4-year-old. He does have a step stool in the kitchen. So he does climb up to open the fridge and grab a little snacky packy that I have in there. I have a bunch of those for him when he wants something immediately, or grapes, blueberries, strawberries. He'll annihilate those in a minute. One time he went through 3 bananas when I wasn't paying attention to him. So that was a problem. Yeah, that was a problem. Don't ever eat 3 bananas in a row.
Oh, geez.
Ever. If you respect your bowels at any point. Learned that the hard way. But yeah.
Don't ever eat anything with that much fiber and calcium in it in back to back. That is never a good idea.
He flies by the seat of his pants, and I often have to keep up with him. But yeah, when I'm streaming, I try to put on like a short movie, or I'll tell him, "Hey, no TV today, grab a book. I have crayons and your coloring book for you," or "Here's a craft project, an arts and crafts." He has a little cooking table that he uses, and he makes quote unquote dinner all the time. So
see, like when I try to stream, because I mostly stream going through 14 story on an alt. I do other things, but mostly it's that. But regardless of what I am streaming, my title always has "Kid is on one, he will be heard" in the background, because I don't do any kind of a cam or VTuber or whatnot. It's like, I have a child, he exists, you're gonna hear him. You can either stay and listen or go on about your business.
And that's something I apologize a lot for that, and I realize like it ruins the immersive experience for people, because like, hey, you're here to watch a VTuber and the game I'm playing, or what music I'm spinning, or we're talking about, and you don't want to hear a kid in the background go, "Oh my god, booty butt!" Like, no one wants to hear that.
I mean, Eugene already said not too long ago in chat. I told him it's gonna happen. He's itching to hear what my son's nickname is gonna be.
Well,
he gives everybody, because he can read. I when he was 5, I got him the "Your Baby Can Read" system.
Yeah.
And I swear by that, because at 5 years old, he could barely say 10 words. He was basically nonverbal. By the end of his first weekend, he was reading things I didn't know he could read.
It's amazing how quick kids learn, right?
Like, right, because I got him that he couldn't even read the word "I."
It is amazing. There are times
at the end of that weekend, he was reading elephant, hippopotamus, stuff like that. Yes. How the hell?
Yes. There are times he comes to me and he's like, "Mom, you've got to be good to everyone." And I'm like, "You are 4 years old." Right?
What? How is a 4-year-old saying that?
I don't know. Kids pick up the wildest things.
They
and sometimes it makes you feel like, man, my kid just really schooled me on
exactly. And it 9 times out of 10, when that happens, it happens in a moment where it clicks, and what they say, even though nine times out of 10 they have no clue that it's perfect for that moment.
Yes.
But it's a big smack in the face, like, "Oh, wait. How did you know what we were talking about?" I don't know.
Exactly. Kids are really smart. I don't think parents give them nearly much credit.
I tell everybody, if he could get out what's actually going through his head, he'd make us all look stupid.
Oh, geez. I'd be like, I've seen in kids who are just, I'm just like, are you, how old are you again? Like, I really have to like really ask it, because I feel like I'm just gobsmacked by some of these kids. Like, they have such an intelligence that is just like, oh my god, like, I did not think of that. Like, it's so phenomenal. Over my head.
It is very phenomenal.
It's like, what have you been sneaking and watching? Where are you learning this stuff? I'd like
I
to watch it too.
know. It's so true. There are so many times where, like, okay, so like I'll tell my son, okay, it's time for bed, get ready for bed, and I'll have like an hour or two to myself of just like quiet because as much as like parents like want to say they love their kids, having overstimulation is a real thing. And sometimes it can be so hard because you have your kid on you all day, and then I have farm animals and a dog, so like I have to take care of them, and then the responsibilities of the household. It can get very overwhelming, and sometimes you just really need that hour of quiet, even if it
Hmm.
means locking yourself in the
Hmm.
bathroom. That is a real thing, by the way.
It is
don't
very
let
much a real thing. It
don't let
doesn't always
anyone tell
work,
you no.
but it does not always work, but it is the real thing. For
It
me,
is a
though,
real thing for
the
sure.
bathroom intrusions for him stopped when he was like 8, 9 years old.
Hmm.
For me now, my bathroom intrusions are the cats.
Mine still happens on a regular, but I will say that, like, so when I take him to bed, he'll be like, Mom, no more working. It's time to
Oh.
sleep. And he'll have this
Oh,
real moment with me. And like since his dad left for deployment, him and I co-share a bed because it's lonely. It is
Hmm.
lonely. I'm gonna just say that now. Like
oh, I
he
can
has his
imagine.
homeroom, he has his own bed, he has a big boy bed, and he'll sleep in it. But like there is a bonding point there that I think that like some parents really overlook. And
Oh,
like
there
I
is.
I get it, SIDS is a real thing, but like man, bonding with your kid and having a nap and they're just like touching you, whether it's a hand or a
Hmm.
foot, is like next level comfort. I
Oh,
can't,
it absolutely is.
yeah,
100%.
I can't emphasize that enough. So like it's moments like that that really ground me and remind me that I'm doing all of this to prove like to him like, hey, it is
Hmm.
possible at my age to do this stuff and not
Hmm.
feel like there's a competition to it. You can do it. You can achieve what you want and do what you want and enjoy your life, and that's okay. So but he grounds me a lot.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's also having that extra bonding because
Yes.
living situations with him growing up and whatnot, we co-shared a bed for probably the first 6 or 7 years of his life.
Mm-hmm. I can see
Um,
that.
once he started climbing out of the baby bed, even with the mattress all the way down and the sides all the way up, it's like, okay, you can just come over here and sleep with me. But that extra bonding actually it will pay off in the long run. My son is like he's very loving when he wants
Mm-hmm.
to be. He will make eye contact when you're talking to him and you're explaining something to him, like when I'm telling him what our schedule is, because he is very. I need to have a beginning point, what happens in the middle, and where we're gonna end up.
Hmm.
Um, Me personally, I from different things that happened before him, deal with a lot of anxiety that throw me into some major panic attacks.
Hmm.
And when those happen, especially when they happen out of the blue with no triggers that I'm aware of,
Hmm.
next thing I know, I'm getting hugged from behind and a head rested on the back of my head. And I look
That's
up
such a
at him
feeling.
like, "Hi, honey," and he
Hmm.
goes, "It's okay, mommy, it's okay." And then he reaches around and starts wiping my eyes.
Oh my God, that
Oh.
is such a feeling. I resonate with that so much because I tell you, like there are times we get off the phone with his dad and I will be sobbing. It's hard. It is hard when your
Hmm.
partner
Hmm.
is halfway across the world and you're just like, you got to
I
cope."
personally have never experienced that, but I have seen what it does both to her and the kids firsthand. My IRL best friend of near 20 years at this point,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
um, her husband was actively deployed when we met in the army several times, and I watched what they went through when he'd be gone for some time. One time he was gone for 18 months.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard, but I will say my son is emotionally attuned to it where he'll come up to me and be like, "Are you sad, mommy? It's okay." And he'll actually
Hmm.
wipe my face and give me hugs and kisses or a little pat on the shoulder or something. He's very attuned to emotional maturity, unique, I think, at his age. Kids are just so perceptive, and I can't emphasize that enough. But yeah, like there are days where it just feels the world is falling, and just like Yukio, like having that little support from your child, it's insane how much that can really like bring you back
Oh,
and
it
ground
snapped me
you.
out of some horrible panic attacks before.
It really does.
There's...
Man, that makes me want to go hug him right now.
I know I haven't really been saying much here, so I just wanted to
Mine'll be
hear the story.
wandering in soon. When he does, I'll do the nickname thing, because going back, looping back around to I know he can read anything he wants.
Mm-hmm.
He has this thing when I tell him, say hi to this person that I'm in chat with, he'll look at me, I say their name. He hears me say their name. I know he can repeat it. He's done it before. He'll look at me, he'll give me this really weird look, and then he'll smile and he'll say something completely different.
Yeah, my name's been Zofran at one point, actually a few times.
It still is.
It still
We're
is.
waiting for the Sunny name. We're waiting for the Sunny name to happen, right?
Yes.
Yushin, it changes sometimes. Usually when I say hi Yushin, he says hi Inuyasha.
Oh, that's cute.
Gosh.
That's so cute.
A friend of ours, Kaoshi, just today told him to say hi Kaoshi. He called him Cowboy Hat.
That's cute.
Oh my God.
Another friend of ours, Yora, he's Dora the Explorer.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I see it.
I have a friend, his name, we call him Buff. In game, he's Lord Bufio, and he's got some sort of Bufio thing. I do not know how to pronounce it for Discord. I'll say hi Buff, hi Jimmy Buffett. But when he reads my Discord DMs, when he gets to his name, he calls him Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh my goodness.
So it will be interesting to see what he says your name is going to be, because it's not going to be Sunny.
Oh no.
It never actually is your actual name, from what I've heard.
Now I'm eager to know. I need to know.
Actually, Nico's the only one.
I can do it now.
I think Nico's been the only one that has a regular name. He said Nico before, hasn't he? I feel like she's probably getting him. She's probably getting him. Nico Moon. Oh wow.
Cute.
At least you can say Nico though. For every one of our names, it's like it's always a different name, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm trying to connect how one became the other. But it's really interesting to hear all of this. I wasn't really saying much because I kind of just wanted to really hear about, a lot about what it is to be a mother.
Alrighty.
Oh, here we go.
Are we ready?
Oh.
Okay.
Cody, come here. Bend down here so they can hear you. Ready? Say hi, Zaria.
Hi, Zofran.
Zofran.
I told you.
Hi, Yushin.
Hi, Inuyasha.
Inuyasha. Hi, Nico.
Hi, Nico Moon.
Nico Moon. Say hi, Sunny.
Hi, Sunny with a chance.
Sunny with a chance.
I love it. I love it. Oh my God, I freaking love it.
That's literally
so
your theme too.
Oh my God, that's adorable. Hi, Cody.
The only person who has kept a consistent nickname for him has been our friend Yora. Whether he reads his name or I tell him to say hi to him, it's always Dora the Explorer, and he's like, you know what? I embrace it. I am Dora the Explorer.
Oh my God, Nico, Sunny with a Chance of Meatball. You know, it's so funny. That book was my childhood favorite growing up. It was the first picture book I bought my son when I found out I was pregnant. It was the first one.
That's adorable.
That's
the
adorable.
Sequel, Pickles to Pittsburgh, absolutely. When the movie came out, we watched it. When the sequel came out, we watched it. So Sunny with a Chance, that is beautiful. I love it. I love it.
It was completely random on that because he's never seen that movie. I've tried to get him to watch it. He won't watch it. He has no idea what that movie
Oh
is.
wow.
So he literally just threw that off the top of his head.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Sunny with a Chance. That's cute. Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Cody.
Thank you
Oh, he
so
done
much,
ran off.
Cody. Yeah, that book means so much to me. So like, not to get espresso here, but like, and this is a topic that I think like we kind of have to talk about with motherhood,
Mm-hmm.
and to normalize it. But so I have gone through 3 miscarriages to
Mm-hmm.
reach my son,
Yeah.
and they don't tell you how frequent miscarriages are. It's about 60% of women go through them trying to get pregnant. It is a very, very common thing.
Mm-hmm.
But because of how difficult the topic is, people don't typically talk about that. And it's hard. It is hard. So I struggled. I struggled for years to get pregnant with my son. And my husband and I, we had considered talking about having a second one. And that has been a roller coaster. So I'm just blessed I have my son as it is. But like that book, I'm telling you, the minute I found out I was pregnant, that book has been like the absolute creme de la creme for me ever since I was a kid. And it was the first one I had sitting on a baby shelf in a nursery, ready to go and read. So like to have your son say that, Kiyo, it means so much to me. You have no idea.
I'm happy it came through. I had to
It's
actually
so cute.
physically get up and go and get him because he had Judge Judy on YouTube.
Oh.
Oh, it's so cute. Well, tell him I say thank you.
I will do that.
So
I do
interestingly.
know
Oh, go ahead.
because not only does he like to do that with names,
I am chat.
but he will pick up um like he'll start scripting commercials and he'll pick up on when different people don't like certain things that he says,
Mm-hmm.
and certain people he will do it on purpose to them.
Mm.
Because like, am I right now? No, but I'm also being respectful of Zaria and the fact that we are live on Twitch. But normally I have an extremely foul mouth. You can ask Yuki and Nico.
Oh no.
I will cuss like a sailor.
I literally told these two to, if they want to go on and talk about whatever stories they have, feel free to do so. Ironically enough, we've actually charged into a number of the questions I did have already on hand.
Oh.
So it's actually really amazing to really have that insight, especially from the both of you. And this stream is PG-13, so with teenagers and whatnot, they will curse like
Which
a
is
sailor.
why, like I said, I am being respectful of the fact that this is your stream. We are live. And I am toning myself back. But because I do have a foul mouth like that,
Mm-hmm.
especially with him being 21,
Mm-hmm.
it's a pick your battles thing.
Mm.
I am not going to sit and every time he says the word damn, go off on a tangent about how, oh no, that's a bad word. You can't say that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Because you hear
Yeah.
cussing everywhere.
Yeah.
So I let him have a mouth like I do. But I do have restrictions on it. He is not allowed to say anything derogatory to or about anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Anything racial that comes out of his mouth, he gets in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And he is not allowed to use, even if it's cussing, different names and whatnot, to purposely try to hurt somebody's feelings. If he is scripting it, even if he's putting it in the right context, it's one of those things where you can tell by the look on their face that they're putting something in full context, but they have no idea exactly what it means to say it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, he likes watching commercial. He does watch commercials and stuff on YouTube sometimes. He found a fan-made um, direct TV commercial.
A fan-made direct TV commercial?
Yes, it is not an actual direct TV commercial. They would not do this on actual
So
TV.
like a spoof kind of thing.
Kind of. Because he will go and he gets really loud when he does it. Covering up some of the words, when you pay too much for cable, you get ticked off. When you get ticked off, you say nasty words. When you say nasty words, you feel like a badass. when you feel like a badass, you like a badass things. When when you like badass things, you get stupid. Don't get stupid. Switch to DirecTV now, or it's bullcrap.
Just an FYI, this is not sponsored by DirecTV. Just let me throw that out there.
Everybody, but he'll say that a lot. But when it's just me and him, he won't say it. I can get him to say it. I just got to bring him in. Hey, Cody, and I say the first line, and he goes right through all of it. But he knows that my mom does not like any cussing to come out of his mouth at all.
Mm.
It's like, okay, you may not like it. You don't tell your other grandkids to stop.
Mm-hmm.
You don't tell your other kids to stop. Leave him alone about it also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
I've
he
had to
chooses
encounter it, too.
that saying with all the cuss words through it, and he puts a big emphasis on some of them to say to my mom every single night when he calls her before bed.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
god.
He will not just randomly say it to anybody else, just mom.
Oh my goodness.
I need
Yeah,
more
see,
fine.
I'm exact opposite. I'm so I come from a very strict background, I would say, for
Mhm.
me personally. So like my mom's side of the family is South American Indian, and then my dad's side of the family is all German Irish. So I'm a mixed baby, and then my son is even more mixed baby. But the values of like my heritage on my mom's side are really strict. So like my son is not allowed to say bad words.
Mhm.
Period. At 4 years old, he shouldn't be saying bad words.
No,
Maybe
I mean, when Cody was up until like 14, 15, when you know what, I'm done,
Mhm.
I'd get on to, no, you're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed
Yeah.
to talk like that. You're not allowed to be like that.
But
Mhm.
that doesn't stop him though. Like there's been times where like I'll let slip like a goddamn or like an I don't know, and what the hell. And then my son will be doing something and I'll be in another room and I'll hear like god dang, or I'll hear a what the hell.
Oh
I'm like,
no.
It's like, you do as I say, not as I do. Stop it.
Yeah.
it's so bad. Or like the first time he picked up the shiitake word and we were in the middle of the grocery store and he was like shiitake, shiitake, shiitake. And I'm just like, oh my God, someone kill me right now. My kid won't stop.
Okay, that's actually kind of cute because the very first time that mine said any cuss word, it was that word as well. My dad
funny.
had come in from work and he's throwing stuff around and whatnot because he had a really bad day at work. My mom looked up at him and said, "What the hell is your problem?" He said, "That work is nothing but a pile of shit."
Uh-oh.
My son is
Oh.
5 years old, standing at the kitchen table between me and my mom. He looks up at my dad. He looks at the little toys he was holding, and he starts smacking them on the table, saying it over and over and over.
Oh my god.
We have I have a guest that just walked into my study here. Do you want to say hello?
Hello.
Oh.
Aww.
Aw. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
He wanted to see what I'm doing.
If you want him to keep talking, by all means, you're more than welcome to do that. Because I know, Sunny, that you want to give him that freedom of privacy. So no pressure on whether you want him to say hi and introduce himself.
He actually, so here's a mom moment for you guys. Like this is just happening in real time. So I made popcorn for him, no biggie. But he just walked in, and the first thing I noticed is he looks like he has a shiner on his cheek. Like he fell. He's a bump there, and I'm looking at it, and he's not really talking, and I notice his mouth is full of popcorn seeds. So it's one of those, what happened? Spit it out. What's going on? What'd you do? He's saying he was looking out the window and he bumped himself. So we have a bird feeder right outside the window that I put a lot of like dried fruit and peanuts and sunflowers and all that, and suet for the woodpeckers. So we get cardinals, we get goldfinches, cardinals, I think I said. woodpeckers, all sorts of stuff. We get all sorts of birds, and he'll sit there like cats do in a window and look at all the birds that come to and from um, the bird feeder, and that's like his favorite pastime whenever he's bored. So,
You
but it
shouldn't
looks
go to bed.
it looks like he may have bonked himself a little bit, so we'll have to take a look at that after.
Okay. Well, if you do need to step away from motherly duties, by all means, no pressure. I know we've been talking a lot about them, and even a lot of the different things that you've been dealing with different situations. I just want to ask because things are different from when they were first born to like now. Do you have any rules that kind of still stand firm from day one?
Bed on time, eat at the dinner table, no food on the couch. Gosh, my son helps me change the trash can. So if I take out the trash bags, he'll put a new one in for me. So it's a lot of helping out, clean up after yourself. Don't ever leave a mess. I don't care what you're doing. You pick it up after you're done. We have a laundry chute, so it's just a matter of picking up dirty clothes and putting it in the little pocket in the wall, and it goes all the way down to the laundry in the basement, which is really cool. Good job, buddy. Thank you. But like simple things about cleaning up. So like just now, he just brought me his popcorn bowl to say, hey, I'm done. It's empty. And I'm going to tell him to take it to the kitchen, and he's going to take it and put it away. And that's just his way of saying, hey, I did this, acknowledge that, and reinforcing that behavior and saying, hey, thank you, good job, and being consistent with it.
Yeah, I'd say it's this same basic thing. Granted, yes, rules have changed for him from the time I started having to give him rules to now with there being a considerable age difference between the kids, but the basic, you got it out, you pick it up. One of the cats I have, I don't make him feed both of them because mine is a hog and she will try to smack things out of his hand just so she can have it all. So he feeds the other cat while I feed my cat. He has to keep his room picked up. We have a special garbage can for his Pediasure cans. They have to go in the can. If they don't go in the can, I make him stop doing whatever it is he's doing, watching, whatnot, get over here, pick it up, put it back in the can. Basic rules that it's like, okay, as long as you do this throughout your entire life, you're going to be golden. You're fine.
Yeah. Just the fundamentals of being able to be like self-sufficient, I think are the big ones. Like again, the cleaning, picking up after himself. I like him. My biggest thing growing up is I always felt as a kid myself that it was very hard in a strict household to like approach my parents and have conversations about how I felt about something and having my own personality defined. So that's one thing with him that I've always really stressed is that if he is upset about something, he can be upset. He's allowed to feel upset about it, but he needs to talk to me about it so we can learn how to manage that, you know? And
You can
being
have all your
able,
big feelings. But we're just going to work it out in a much
yeah,
healthier way.
exactly. And don't feel scared to talk to mommy about what's going on. That's the big thing is he's very honest with me, even when he gets in trouble for it. Like I'm going to be more upset if I find out later than if he just tells me up front, which he usually does. And
Right?
you know,
It's that thing. If you're just honest with me,
exactly.
can't promise you won't get grounded eventually depending on what it is. Can't promise you're not going to get something taken away. But I can promise if I find out you lied to me, it's going to be much worse.
Yes. I like giving him choices. So like let's say there was one time he colored with crayon on the wall. He colored with crayon on the wall, and that's not a big thing. Kids are going to be kids. I expect that's going to happen. But I told him like, hey, you have a choice. You can either help me clean it up or you can go on timeout. But ultimately the choice is yours. You get to pick what you want to do. Actions do have consequences, but you're going to pick one. And more often than not, he's going to want to help me clean it up and fix it. And I think that that's the important part is learning to have that capability and like understanding. So like I've been really trying to foster that with him a lot.
Right, because depending on what happened and what the choice of consequences are. Okay, I did this, and then I had to take. It's either like you said, I either had to take time to help clean it, or I had to have a timeout, and I couldn't do what I wanted. Either way it goes.
Exactly.
So if I next time I color on the wall, am I going to get that choice? But even if I
Right.
get that choice, I still can't go do what I want, so I'm not going to color on the wall.
Yep. So he's been like just now he walked in with the snacky packy and said, "Hey, I'm still hungry. Is this okay?" I just opened for him, and he's gonna go back to doing what he was doing. And yeah, he understands the consequences of it, and I think that's the big thing is like being able to say like, "Hey, mommy's working. I do have stuff I have to focus on. Try to do something that's productive for you, and I'll help you
Mm-hmm.
when I can." Just understand that there's limitations to that, you know?
Right. Now, I have a question because
Sure.
before I found out that he was autistic, and we did find out relatively quickly, he showed very quickly when he was about 18 months old that there was something not right when he went from hitting all of his milestones up till that point regularly. And then when in the course of 1 month's time, he just completely regressed back like he was a 6-month-old baby again.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
wow.
So we knew very early about his autism diagnosis. We got him into the therapies and stuff like that. Prior to that, somebody had asked me, so are you going to be one of the moms that when they do something when they're a kid or preteen teen and they have to be grounded or whatnot, that you're going to strip everything out of the room and just ground them off of everything?
No,
No, no.
no.
I will ground him from a TV. I will take a phone. I will take an iPad. You're not going out with your friends. He will always have access to books. He will always have access to art. He can go outside and play with whatever he wants. He's not getting the fun stuff, but he will be able to have stuff like that.
See, when I got grounded, I was such a book nerd that it didn't really change anything. I would just still stay up and read anyway. So didn't really do a whole lot. And that was my experience, unfortunately. And I have a feeling my son is gearing towards that direction, which I mean, cool. But I also want to like he is excited to start school. But one of the things he said to me that made me worry, he came to me and he's like, "Mom, I don't want to go to school. They're gonna make fun of me." At 4 years old.
Oh.
Aww.
And I just asked him like, why are you worried about something like that? You haven't been able to go yet. You don't know what kind of friends you're gonna make, or art or crafts or things you're gonna learn. Like, it's crazy to have a kid be that anxious
Mm-hmm.
about what's gonna happen to them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like in that respect, like I do worry as a mom, like of being too hard on him. And that's why I like to give like choices when things happen. So he understands that like there are still consequences, but he can navigate those and make decisions that he thinks is adequate, um, depending on what he's done. Because I just I don't want to make my kid feel like he's nothing, you know? Mom
Mm-hmm.
wants
Right.
that.
No.
So
It's definitely a learning curve
Mine
from I've
was
seen.
actually homeschooled his entire school life through K-12. He went through specifically Ohio Virtual Academy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I put him in homeschool because the one time that let somebody other than me be in charge of him when he went to, and my baby was, he was 5 going on 6 because his birthday's in December, so he's that year late, baby.
Oh.
He was in preschool where the biggest thing they teach you is 1, 2, 3 ABC red, yellow, blue.
Oh.
And for the first couple of months, everything was fine.
Mm-hmm.
We would take him in. He would only stay half a day. I'd drop him off in the morning. The school that we would take him to, the way the town is set up, there's the school, and a 30-second walk away from the door I drop him off at is our public library. So I
Mm-hmm.
would drop him off and I'd go over to the library. I was just sitting down about 2.5, almost 3 months in, and I got a call from the school on my phone. They said that he had had a meltdown,
Oh.
and they were calling to let me know because it was put in his IEP that if he goes into a meltdown and he's not easily redirected, to call me. I will be close. I'll come in. I'll calm him down. Once I get him calmed down and he's focused on whatever the teacher's doing, I'll just slip out and go back over to the library. So I picked up my book that I just sat down in my bag. I said, "Okay, I'm on my way." And then I heard the phrase, "Oh, we got the bleeding to stop."
Oh
The
my
bleeding?
God.
The bleeding. When he went into school that day and he was allowed to bring toys from home because, again, like I said, it was preschool. He had an IEP. Everybody knew he was special needs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they still make them. You know how, like, when you go shopping for Halloween costumes and you got that little um, samurai outfit or the uh, pirate outfit, it's got that very long, skinny plastic sword that comes with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of those, and they were fine with it. Apparently, he started flipping it back and forth in front of his face for stemming, and he
Uh-huh.
was almost hitting a couple of the other kids with it. So they took it. Okay, I'm all for that. He's allowed to bring it, but he has to learn that there's an appropriate way to play with things.
Yeah.
Um, when I got over to the school, and they already had him in the office because I told him I'm coming to get him. I'm taking him home. I just want him. They already had him in the office. As soon as we got outside and I got him in the car, I was taking his coat off of him so I could get him up in his car seat. And I seen on his shirt sleeve, because he had a black Spider-Man outfit with white sleeves, on his shirt sleeve, a little bit bigger than a $50 was a blood spot.
Oh, wow.
He did not go back. I called the principal, told him I wanted a meeting. I wanted her there. I wanted everybody that was involved in his IEP there, and I wanted all three, yes, three of the adults that were in the room in the meeting as well. And I found out then that he had his own personal aide that was supposed to help him with things.
Mm-hmm.
I found out at that meeting that the main teacher of the room, not his aide, jerked it out of his hands and made him sit in a chair and sat in front of him so he couldn't move his legs and was holding his hand so he couldn't move.
Oh, my
The
goodness.
blood came from biting his tongue when he headbutted her in the nose to get her out of his face.
Oh.
Oh. That's not
I said, "Nope,
right.
y'all ain't getting him back." I put him in K-12 and he flourished. He did absolutely wonderful all the way through. It got to the point by the time he was in third grade, I didn't even have to sit and make him sit at the computer. I'd look look, here's your teacher. They always did Zoom and whatnot. I said, "Here's your teacher." He'd get focused. I'd walk out of the room. An hour and a half later, he'd come walking out. He was done. He absolutely thrived in homeschool.
Oh, wow. That's such a huge difference. But then also, like, as much as I want to ask for the tea of what happened to that teacher, um, that's like there's different ways to handle kids, and I don't think that even putting your hands on them, like especially if
No.
they're not your child, is not the appropriate thing to do. And even like the fact that you mentioned that he has an aide, and it was the main teacher that did it rather than consulting the aide
Her
and what.
focus should have been on keeping the other kids on a different side of the room,
Mm-hmm.
away from him where he had the sword.
Yeah.
Let the aide run interference between him and the other kids until I got there and I would have took it.
Yeah.
Or if the aide could have talked him out of it by trading him with something that wouldn't have mattered.
Mm-hmm.
That's what should have happened. She never should have stepped in. It was in his IEP that if his aide can't handle it, I get called. Plain and simple.
Yeah. But it didn't. Was there any information about the aide, or what? Where was the aide in all this?
She just kind of stood back and watched. She was under the impression, because I talked to her a couple weeks after I signed him out, I seen her at IGA, and she stopped the IGA in the town I lived in, and she stopped me and she said, "I just wanted to let you know that I am sorry about that." She was under the impression and told that she was not allowed to step in and stop the teachers from correcting the kids. She thought she just had to stand back and watch.
Oh.
She was the one who told me that she sat him down in the chair and was and sitting in front of him and whatnot. She's like, well, he wasn't acting like I was bothering him. I said, did he headbutt you? Well, yeah, you were bothering him. He couldn't kick at you to get you away. He couldn't push you away with his hands. He did the only thing he could to get you out of his space.
That's
Yeah. I'm with you on that, Kiyo. Like Professor Buck saying, I noticed that homeschooling is often more effective these days. I'm glad he really did well. As a mom who's about to put her kid into kindergarten next year, because that is coming up, that has been a topic that I've discussed at length with his dad, like, the benefits of public schooling versus homeschooling, and that's a real thing you have to consider.
mhm.
Like my husband had public schooling. He's from Florida, and his experience with the public school system was way different than what I had. For me, I had access to a lot of AP programs. I had a lot of academic acceleration type things like expository classes, college level classes, music programs, sports, all sorts of academia that I've come to realize that most people don't get an opportunity to
Mm-mm.
be involved
Mhm.
with. And the teachers that I went to school with were very much in touch with their students, and I still talk to some of them to this day. I am still friends with some of them to this day. And, that can't be said for my husband's experience. He's like, we didn't have enough kids to be able to have an AP program. Some of the teachers just really didn't care. The student quality was different.
Mhm.
Some parents throw their kids into public systems because it's like a daycare. They're not actually
Mm-hmm.
learning anything. And it's been a topic between us because I gave up my career. So I used to work in law enforcement. I was a manager for digital evidence department. So I sat in for a lot of uh, autopsies. I saw the case notes, the photos, radio, all that stuff. I used to do that for a living, and I ended up giving that up once I became pregnant and had my son. Because I really wanted to focus on those first early years, and they were only giving 2 weeks after birth to
Mhm.
be with your kid, and that's not enough time to
No,
bond.
Oh
it's
no.
not.
And
3 weeks?
many working you hear other countries, they get like 6 months. They get a lot of time to spend with their kids, and here in the US you get 2 weeks, and if you want more than that, you need FMLA. And why should you have to go and ask for extended time to be with the birth of your kid before throwing them into daycare? And unfortunately, for a lot of working women, that's exactly what you have to do. Is your
Yep.
kid goes into daycare, you don't see them all day, and then you go to work, you come home, and now you have to be mom again. Your kid thinks you abandoned them, and you lose those fundamental years, in my opinion.
Oh
Mhm.
no,
So
absolutely. I 100% agree.
I
Granted, yes, I stayed home with my son for different reasons, but
it
I
was
was
still
still
valuable to
there.
him.
And it
Exactly.
was valuable to both of us because I got to see the first words, the first step, the first
Exactly.
smile, hear that first
Exactly.
giggle. Nothing can replace that.
Nothing
Mhm.
can replace that. And I gave up my career for it, and I would do it 10 times over again to the moon and back. It is worth it for every parent if you can afford to be able to do that.
Mhm.
Mm,
Not to discredit parents who cannot. I completely understand
no.
that. But in my situation, I was fortunate enough to be able to set that aside and to spend time with him and to be able to learn that. And it's been a question of, when he is of school age, do I want to take on homeschooling and to
Mhm.
be the teacher and be able to provide the extracurricular academia that the school may not be able to? Or do I want to try the public system and see if it's beneficial for him? Because I do want him to make friends. I do want him to have that social interaction. I do want him to have that, but not at the cost of being able to learn actual academia that isn't just a TV screen in a classroom. I want him to have that one-on-one experience and to be able to get what I did because I felt very fortunate to. So,
Now, I know the homeschool that I did with him, um, the teachers didn't organize anything or anything like that, like field trips or whatnot, but they had a whole on
Mhm.
your parent portal, there was a whole section dedicated to where only the parents of the kids that are in your kid's class can see it. And you can organize field trips,
Yes.
field days,
Yes.
go to the museum, go to the
Oh my
zoo, go
gosh.
take a walk in a
Yes.
park. They encourage that
I
completely.
saw
That
that.
way, not only, and I did that a lot with him because not only was that giving him the human interactions that he needs,
Mhm.
but it was also giving us a reason to be able to go out, make
Yes.
friends, and
Yes.
it was an extra bonding experience. I also learned through homeschool that if you and like say if you and your son went to the zoo and you had him read stuff about the animals and asked him questions and whatnot, that would all count as science and reading.
I actually saw that. I used to live in Denver, and we went to the aquarium there, and there was actually a giant field trip of homeschooled students that were taking that day with the parents and going to do like an interactive study at the
Mm-hmm.
museum. And we ended up just by collateral, ended up running into them and being able to like tag along. And it
Mhm.
was fascinating. Like I get it that I'm not perhaps an educator. I don't have a degree in like mathematics or chemistry or be able to provide those things. But like, if I can be able to find a way to balance a common sense learning and focus on an education without all the peripheral stuff going on or agendas from one side or another, like that would be absolutely awesome. Like, I wish learning was what it used to be, truthfully. And I don't know. I'm kind of scared for for kids these days and what that's turning into.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually really curious because you guys you two talked a lot about homeschooling. I actually so I'm this is I guess a U.S. like the school education system that you've been talking about is a lot about. It sounds like
Hmm.
what is going on in the U.S. I'm guessing. I
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
personally, so I'm Canadian, so I don't understand a lot of the homeschooling situation. Like even when you mentioned 3 weeks, it was a surprise for us. It's a surprise for us because like we have like moms can take time off for about a year to 18
Not
months.
here. No.
No.
So
Here,
Late.
the longest I've ever heard of somebody getting maternity leave was 2 months. And that was a very rare occurrence.
really, oh wait, sorry. Actually, before
I've heard
you mentioned
of
Sunny
it.
mentioned about FMLA that has to be filed for it. What exactly is that?
Yes.
If
So
mhm.
FMLA is like extended leave. So let's say that you want longer than 2 weeks. And again, I was a government employee, so keep that in mind. Usually you'd think government would have a lot more benefits. We don't.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So that was 2 weeks. And if you wanted more, you had to apply. It's almost like a I don't want to say extended. It's an extended leave, but you're usually not getting paid for it. So it's like filing a claim, so to speak, and you have to get it approved to say, hey, I need the extended time to do XYZ. So, but
And even then, they make you jump through
yes,
so many
you
hoops
have
to
to
try to
jump through
prove that
hoops.
it's
wow.
needed.
Chances are you're not going to get it approved because it's not
Hmm.
necessarily like something wrong. Usually FMLA is reserved for like, hey, I had surgery and I need an extra week on top of the 2 weeks I took.
Right.
That would make sense. But like for me, in my case, so I'm actually very glad I quit when I did because when I gave birth to my son, I ran into a lot of complications with him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had what they call PUPS. PUPS is not really known. What it is, it's an autoimmune reaction to a male fetus in your body. And
Oh
you
wow.
break out in head to toe hives that itch nonstop. They do not go away. There's no cure for it, there's no medicine for it. The only way to get rid of it is to give birth. That is it. And it
Wow,
happens
really?
to a
Sorry.
very small percentage of women. And I was the lucky one to get it. And
Wow.
when I say that it is the worst, it is the worst. You take like a oatmeal bath and it'll help your skin for like all of 10 minutes and then you are just itching, and I have scars from it still. And that
I'm
went
sorry.
on.
I'm
That
so
you know,
sorry.
it happened at the end of my pregnancy, but for many women, it happens at the beginning. So I cannot imagine going full term for 9 months dealing with that. And I dealt with it for maybe like 3. So I was fortunate it was at the end. But be as that may, I had to get induced for my pregnancy because he wasn't coming out at 41 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And the problems that
Same.
I ran into is I have really low blood pressure naturally. So they ended up doing an epidural on me, and I almost actually died giving birth to my son. My heart nearly stopped, and so did his. And I remember we had to have a whole team come in and resuscitate us, essentially, to get us back to working order.
Wow.
His head was stuck on my pelvic bone, and they could not get him out. They tried a vacuum only once or twice. He was stuck, and I had to go into emergency C-section
Do
to
you
get
know how
him
far
out.
you dilated out to?
Um, gosh, I don't even know. I know at some point my water did break, and I do remember the doctor reaching up there. By the way, the most painful experience of my life.
Oh,
When I
wow.
say life,
Mm-hmm.
they wanted to check how far dilated I was, and the doctor just shoved his fingers up there and was prying me open, and it was
Mm-hmm.
god
My
awful
God.
painful. But
You had
I
to make yourself sit still because your first reaction was to kick him
it
in the
was
face and make
so
him move.
Oh
bad.
my God.
When they say torture on women, that is torture. No man in the world could ever convince me they could put up with that. But like
Nope.
superpowers to women, right? But yeah, he was prying open my cervix and trying to figure out where I was at. And eventually my water did break, but my son was stuck on my pelvic bone because I'm just small. I'm small. I'm only 5'1". So I'm a little person. But he wouldn't come out and I had a C-section. And I just think that if I had to go back to work a week later after having gone through all that with a C-section cut and incision, how hard that is on a woman's body, not to
Oh,
mention
I would be
anybody.
traumatized.
It's hard. And to ask someone to go straight back into work and you got to wear your slacks and your heels and get back to running up and down the hallways and getting
Yeah,
things
no.
done. Yeah,
No.
no.
I know exactly how that feels. I was 42 weeks and he ended up in a C-section because I wouldn't dilate enough.
It's hard on your body, and you don't forget that. And to ask someone 2 weeks to
Mm-hmm.
go and recover,
Mhm.
no,
So
no.
here's a quick question for you, Sonny. And this is a personal experience,
Sure.
considering you said you had a C-section as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you remember that first initial shock when they moved you from your nice warm bed over to that table?
Oh
I
no.
was shaking. I was shaking.
I
Um,
they had told me I could have some medicine through my IV when the pain started if I wanted it to take the edge off. Said okay, I did all my
yeah,
paperwork and everything before they did it because they said it might make me a little bit loopy.
yep.
Mhm.
I was in labor for almost 37 hours.
I was in labor for 39. Yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
Hmm.
goodness.
I
yeah.
waited as long as I could for the epidural because everybody kept telling me the sooner, if you take your epidural too soon, it'll stall your labor.
Oh my God, I
It's like,
took the episode.
this is already taking too long. I'm not stalling it.
I took it and I nearly died from having taken it. And the anesthesiast had no idea what was going on with me. They're like, "Oh
Hmm.
my God," her like an alarm went off. And my husband had just stepped out of the room to go get a snack from the cafeteria. He's like, "I'll be right back." And as he's walking
Beep,
back,
beep,
all
beep,
he
beep.
sees is all these nurses and
Oh my
doctors running
God.
into my room trying to get me back alive again. And I'm over there like dying on the table.
Oh my
And then they're
God.
like, because with him, with my husband, when he was born, his mom opted to do a vacuum, which is when they suction the baby out of you. Um, and he ended up breaking his clavicle as they were pulling him out as an infant. And so we had agreed that if it came down to it and they needed to do a vacuum, we would only allow them to try once. We didn't want our kid to like end up with anything broken or you get scared of that.
Mhm.
So they tried it once and they're like, "We can't get your son out. He's stuck on your hip, your pelvic bone." I'm like, "Okay." And that's when they immediately ran me over to surgery.
Hmm.
And I just remember shaking. And apparently that's just normal adrenaline going through you. But my teeth were chattering, my hands were just shaking. And thankfully he was there, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a scary experience
know.
for
Mhm.
any mother.
Yeah, I mean, because I was trying to have I wanted the drugs. That's not what I mean by natural, but not have to have a C-section or
Right.
any help
Same.
or
Yeah.
whatnot.
Same.
And the I had two different doctors that seen me at my OB clinic.
Mhm.
The one that was on call for 24 of my almost 37 hours. Um, he said, "Well, we'll give it time. We'll give it time. The heart rate's good. Everything's good. We'll give it time." Within a 4-hour span of the doctor that actually delivered him coming on duty, he noticed that my blood pressure was stupid high. I was at 210 over 110.
Wow.
I don't remember that.
Wow.
When they finally put me back on my bed after the C-section and I was holding him back in my room and I was feeding him, I looked over and there's towels taped to the side of my bed.
Yeah.
I asked my mom what had happened, and she said that they said that my blood pressure was um in the range of either having a stroke or a seizure. And
Oh
they
my
come in
gosh.
adding another IV and patting my bed down.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. I can't
But
Yeah.
up
imagine.
until they moved me from my nice, warm, comfy hospital bed over to that cold steel, I don't have a lot of memories of stuff of that. Oh boy, I was awake as soon as I hit that.
They gave me a lot of blankets. I will say I was at a very nice hospital in
Well, I
Denver,
had all the blankets I wanted
but
until they moved me over to that steel. They put my bare back on that cold ass steel. I'm
I
up.
I do remember throwing up. I threw up a lot because
I did.
of the low blood pressure and then the just being the nerves of the medication. I remember throwing up a lot from that.
I
It
threw up from the pressure of the actual C-section itself.
Oh no. It's scary. I mean, I know you guys in the audience are kind of listening to this and going, okay, that's nuts. But like, think about how many women in the US go through a C-section or even the world go through a C-section like that. And it is traumatic to your body. Like, you cannot walk upstairs afterwards. Your whole pelvic floor is gone. Like,
Mhm.
and I was nuts because they had given me, some really serious like painkiller medication after the fact, and I did not know, and I was taking Tylenol for it for a week, and they're like, how did you truck through that? And I'm like, I have no idea. I didn't even know you guys gave me like Vicodin or whatever.
I
And so
shock every single doctor I talk to when they talk about wanting to give me pain medicine. It's like, just give me some prescription strength ibuprofen. I'll be fine.
yeah, that's exactly what I did. I did
I don't want
ibuprofen
the
and
Vicodin.
Tylenol.
I don't want the Vicodin. I don't want the Percocet.
It's
No,
tough.
give me my ibuprofen. I'll be fine. I can do stuff you can't do. So
Yeah, but like for the human body to go through that, that is a lot. And to turn around and be like, hey, ladies, here's 2 weeks to recover from the trauma of what your body just went and held for 9 months of change. Like, that's abnormal. Things like the whole system regarding women giving birth or going through even miscarriages. I will
Mhm.
never forget my first miscarriage was such a disaster. The OBGYN I went to ended up was one that my workplace recommended, and I ended up having a miscarriage. And I remember when I went, a fellow employee was waiting in the waiting room with me, and one of the nurses came out and she's like, what are you here for? And what are you here for? And she turns to me and she's like, what are you here for? If you're pregnant, you need to fill out a form. And I'm like, ma'am, I'm here because I'm losing my baby. And she looked so taken aback by that. But like, for HIPAA reasons, obviously, you shouldn't be asking anyone in a public space their medical stuff, right?
no.
But then here I have a coworker who is there because she's having a baby, learning that I'm there because I'm losing mine. And what was nuts about it is I ended up having an ultrasound done. And I remember they confirmed that we had lost our child. And um, the technician was like, but wait, I see something else. I think we need to screen you for uterine cancer. And I'm like, okay. hold up. So here I am waiting for weeks to find out what the results are. And I have to call them myself to be like, hey, I need to find out whether or not I have cancer on top of a miscarriage.
Mm-hmm.
They can't find the labs or the ultrasounds, and they
Wow.
take over an hour to find it. And they're like, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. And I'm like, what do you mean? Are you saying I just made up coming in, losing a baby, having an ultrasound, figuring out all this stuff? You're saying I just fabricated that? Only for them to find out, oh, well, we just mislabeled it. We're so sorry. And then I was just like, this whole process, like the entire health system for women, especially here in the US, is just so
Ass.
it's so bad. It's so bad. And to ask women to go through all of that and only get like a few handful of days for bonding, for recovery, for all of it is so asinine.
Mhm.
It really
Mhm.
is.
And even if you go through a picture perfect labor, oh, I think I'm in labor, your water breaks. You push the baby out 20 minutes after you get to the hospital, everything's fine. Even then, you need more than those 2 weeks
You really
You
to build a
do.
proper bond with that baby.
Well, that's like I think 2025. Even I forget sometimes. But I was diagnosed with cancer about a year ago now, I think. I want to say a year and a half now. I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, so completely different. I did have the surgery for it. I did have half my thyroid removed, and it was about the same time that my husband got asked to deploy out. And so that's just something I think about a lot, is that like here I am in a situation where if I had been working, it would have been next to impossible to be able to recover or to be able to give my son a normal life in
Mhm.
all of this, right? His dad's gone. I'm going through cancer. He's trying to just grow up and be a baby. Like, that's hard.
That's rough.
So, yeah, shout out to super moms out there. Kiyo, you, everyone else, all those moms out there, they are the true unsung heroes when it comes down to it.
Definitely. Oh,
Before we move on, there is one thing, and this is a personal thing for me that I want to loop back to. Sonny, you said you're 5'1".
I am.
I finally meet somebody shorter than me.
Oh my God.
I'm
I
5'2". I'm only an inch taller, but it counts.
I will say at FanFest, I met so many people that were taken aback by how short I am. Time, I'm looking at you, Serenity, Nico, Jay. Everybody was like, God damn, she's so small.
she added the one. She added the one.
One is just like, okay, we're gonna call her little son now. So that's my shtick. Is I'm really short. Yes, I have a step stool in my kitchen. Yes, I
mean,
can't reach the
My
top
first, like I
shelf.
said, my first thought was, I'm taller than somebody.
Everyone's taller than me. I am short. But
You
I
are
like
the
to go
only person I
exercise.
know now that is shorter than me.
So,
Only one.
so
You, Shane, shut up, go away.
so I don't usually divulge much of my information to chat, really, but I'm actually smaller than both of you.
Oh my gosh. See, I'm not the short stuff anymore.
So, and like a lot of it was like real, like we were attributing it to possibly when I was born. So I was actually a C-section baby.
Oh.
But the thing was, the doctor, so this was like way back in my family's like home, like in home
Yeah.
country. So we're not in Canada, we're not in US or anything like that. They actually mispredicted my birth, like when I was supposed to be born.
Oh.
So they took
okay.
me out a month early.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so they actually I had to go through the ICU, and I was in an incubator. They couldn't touch me. So real like my mom was telling me how like they had to use like those incubator gloves, so
Yeah.
that to reach in to be able to touch me. But then I wasn't really eating too well, so it was like a lot of it. Like my family thinks that it's the reason why my height kind of got affected was because I was born so small. Like literally this
Oh, yeah.
according to my parents was that I was the size of a shoebox,
Oh my
which
goodness.
so
Yeah,
I
I
was
can't
really
believe
That
small.
the earlier, being a month early by force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of what you're talking about with like the C-section, like I've seen my mom, like when I was taking care of her during her a few months ago, she had a surgery for her back, but also
Mhm.
she's had a number of surgeries last year, one of them being cancer as well. Um, and when I was taking care of her, I that C-section line is still there.
Yeah.
It's
It
it's
stays
it
there.
just doesn't fade. And
Nope.
shout out
Nope.
to my mom who unfortunately she's not here in Canada with me right now. She's taking care of family, as we did have a death in the family. So please keep her in your
Condolences.
prayers that she is able to come back home safely.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and honestly, everything you've talked about, like in terms of birth, even the C-section, my best friends have gone through it, and it's really an eye-opening. It's like it's the stuff that we don't really talk about that kind
Yeah.
of just gets hushed and really kind of like tucked under, like swept under the rug, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But I
That's
want,
because most people nowadays only want the sunshine, glitter, and rainbows part of it. And it's like there's
yeah,
so much more to it.
yeah,
Well, there's so much more to being a woman and a mom than just having the baby. It's the whole journey getting there, right?
yeah.
And even afterwards, you really don't think of the impact on your life. It changes you
Mhm.
biologically, mentally, all of it.
So I know we don't have much time remaining, unfortunately. So I do. We talk about a lot about like the journey of motherhood, um, and really like from the birth the process of like going through raising your child. I want to ask a little bit to drop back into like the opposite side of the sunshine and roses. Did you have any fears about motherhood?
Yes.
Metric ton.
Yes.
If you can get pregnant and know that you're going into motherhood and say, I'm not scared of anything, I will call you a liar to your damn face.
Yeah. I agree with Keo on that. Um,
You worry about how the pregnancy's going to go. You worry
Mm-hmm.
about how labor's going to go. Is the baby going to come out with all 10 fingers and 10 toes? Is the baby going to, in my case, be special needs depending on their age? You worry
Mm-hmm.
about where
mhm.
they're going to live. You
It
worry
doesn't
about what
stop.
you're going to feed them. You worry about who's
Mm-hmm.
around them. Your worry and fears of being a mom,
Mm-hmm.
like she said, will never stop. They
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
just evolve and change as the baby grows.
Exactly. It does not stop. I like for myself, getting really personal here. I don't typically talk about this stuff. Not a lot of people know this
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff about me, but I was raised in a very, very abusive household,
Mm-hmm.
um, physically, mentally, very, very abusive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so one of my biggest fears growing up was am I going to be able to give him, my child, the life experience that I didn't get to have? Am I going to be a good enough mother? That was my biggest worry.
Mm-hmm.
And even now, seeing him flourish and seeing just how he's developed into this little personality and
Mm-hmm.
defining himself, I often struggle. And the thing is, the thing that I was told, and I still stick to this day, parenting does not come with a manual. It does
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
not come with a manual. It changes. You change. Your child changes. You learn from them as much as they learn from you.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a learning experience and it doesn't stop. And you are going to worry. You are going to stress. And that is part of parenthood. And it,
Even after they're 18 and moved out of the house, it's not going to
exactly.
stop.
They're going to be your baby no matter what. They could be in their
Hmm.
60s or 80s and they're still your child and you're always going to love and worry about them. And that does not change. But it doesn't come with a manual. Nothing is telling you what the right or wrong is. And you're always going to second guess yourself. And the only thing you can do is just try your best and do what you think is the best for you and them and their future, right? Like you're
Mm-hmm.
always going to worry and be scared. And that's something that like I think when you get pregnant and become a parent, they don't really talk to you about like
Mm-mm.
everyone has their own ways and their own methods. And that's
Mm-hmm.
just the honest truth of it all, right?
Right? I mean, going back to what I let him do versus what you let yours do. I let him have all the screen
Exactly.
time he wants. You
Mhm.
don't. It doesn't make me right and you wrong. Doesn't make you
Correct.
right and me wrong.
Mhm.
It's just
It's how
different.
we're choosing to handle our own individual kids that are not the same kind of kid.
Yep. And everything's different. There's variables in so many other ways,
Mhm.
and you
Mhm.
cannot treat it one. There is no one size fit all.
Mhm.
There's definitely no one
No.
size fit all. Everyone has a different style and unique
Mhm.
to their situation, and it,
The
it is
key
scary.
to navigating it, which if it ever does happen in my lifetime, I'll be ecstatic and shocked, but is when everybody can actually see that.
Mm-hmm.
When people who have two different views on what their child is and is not allowed to do, how they're corrected. Like Sunny and I, we have two completely opposite views on what we do with our kids.
Mhm.
But it doesn't mean, like I said before, it doesn't mean that either one of us is wrong.
Correct.
And it also doesn't mean that we can't sit down and have a conversation about it.
Mhm.
Because there's going to be some things that she might do with her son that, I wonder if I could use that with Cody. And vice versa.
Likewise, vice versa.
One of the biggest things, and me me and my mom continuously fight about this when it happens as well, is when he was 6 years old, his physical therapist that he was seeing, um, she was asking me how I dealt with his behavior issues because being autistic, he has, and no way to get it out. He would have a sometimes huge hours long meltdown modes.
Mhm.
And when that would happen, for the most part, I just kind of fielded him. Nope, don't do that. Nope, we're not allowed to do that. He'd pick something up, knowing that he was going to throw it, not necessarily at anything or anybody in particular, just grab it and sling it.
Mhm.
I'd be on him. I'd take, nope, you're not allowed doing that. She said, have you ever thought about actually giving him a consequence that's not physical, in a sense? I asked her what she meant. She said, a spray bottle.
A
Get
spray
a spray
bottle.
bottle, a $1 spray bottle from Family Dollar, fill it up with just plain water. And when he goes into that mood, spray him.
I'm not
Because
gonna
my son
lie.
loves water. He loves to just take a bath. He loves to go out and play in the pool for hours at a time, sometimes in the summer. But there's something about it coming out of a spray bottle and smacking him. He absolutely hates it.
I'm not gonna
I
lie. I've
sprayed
done that. I've done that. It
first
works.
time I did that, he was in such a mood. His shirt was soaked. I had to change his clothes by the
Oh
time we
wow.
were done. But now it is to the
Oh.
point where when he starts getting into that kind of a mood again and nothing I say is stopping it, fine, I'll get the spray bottle. He stops, sits, all done spray.
I'm not gonna lie.
Wow.
This is hilarious, and I've done that before.
I
It's
honestly
been
scared to do that because I'm worried that it's going to become like a trauma response for them.
Did it a
as
few
long as you're not
times.
the way that they described it to me is as long as you're not spraying them like trying to spray them directly in the eye in the face.
Uh-huh.
Spray them on their chest, on their back.
Jay, yes, kids
That
are
way,
like cats. Yes.
that way,
It
the
makes
worst
them
that happens is
uncomfortable.
after they come out of their behavior, they got wet clothes. You change your clothes. It's fine.
I've only done it jokingly to my son just to annoy him because I'm that kind of mom. I like teasing my kid and like bugging him and being
Oh, yeah.
that
Mhm.
mom, you know?
Uh-huh.
But I had a little spritzy bottle for like moistening your hair and doing curls and stuff. And I like, if my dog was doing something weird, I spritz him. And then my
Mhm.
son was like, hey, mom. And you would be like, really, I'd be overstimulated that day. And I'm like, I don't want to talk to anybody. You'd be like, hey, mom. And I'd be like, you'd be like, oh, no, mommy, no.
Yeah, no, I am 100% that mom too. In my family, there not so much anymore because my generation just kind of phased it out. Um, but my mom's generation, my mom is the youngest. This is how big my family is. My mom is the youngest of 11 kids.
My mom's the youngest at 13.
My mom's
I-
the third oldest of 9, plus my dad is
Okay,
the
so we
youngest of
all got
9.
big
We all
families.
got
Y'all
big
know that.
families.
Big family tree going on.
It's a family tree.
Eugene, no ideas. No more adopting. You're on hiatus. Um, but her brother that was like 4 years older than her, his name was Richard. The entire family called him Rock. I can tell you that story in a minute if you want.
Uh-oh.
But it was his job to scare all of the kids.
Uh-oh.
And we'd have family reunions at parks, and he'd go sneaking off into the woods somewhere, and we'd go, and toward the end of the reunion, we'd all just go walking the trails around the park, and he'd be hiding somewhere, jump out purposely just to try to scare all the kids half to death. It's like, you know what? I'm not going to let him do that to my kid. My kid is not going to be one of those kids. So from the time he could sit up, I would stomp at him and scare him.
Oh.
Aw.
He'd be sitting in his baby bed. I'd be walking in my room. He would not be paying no attention to me. I'd jump in and I'd scare him. And he'd look at me, but he never cried. And I did that every single day for years. I
See,
did.
I do the momster. I call it momster, but I monster chase my son around the house. It's fun. Or like we play wrestle and stuff. That's
Right.
that's just
Well-
how I am. But like, yeah, I'll toss him on the bed or the couch and tickle him till he's screaming and like, the typical
Yeah.
goober mom, or embarrass him by like singing something in public, and he'll be like, "Mom, don't sing that. Not you." Like,
Well, I know I did my job when he was 6 years old. Where I live literally a 30-second drive from my local township. They have a big lake where we can fish, a park, walking trails, all kinds of stuff.
Oh, that's convenient.
And every year in October, they have something over there called the Autumn Bash. I took him over there that year, and we were walking around, and he kept pointing. He wanted to go walk on the trails. Well,
Mhm.
being around Halloween, they were haunted trails, and I kept trying to discourage him.
Mhm.
Finally,
so
he just
fun.
said, "You know what? I don't care," and he let go of my hand, and he just started walking toward the trails. Like, all right,
I'd
fine.
lesson
Let's see
learned
how
that
this
day.
works.
Oh no.
So we're walking through the trails, and you're hearing all the all the speakers with all the spooky noises and whatnot. We're walking past this really big tree, and this guy covered in what looks like blood with a chainsaw jumps out, waving the chainsaw in the air, and then points it down at my kid. And he goes, and he runs behind me. Then he starts cackling, runs back around me, gets behind the guy, and starts pushing him back behind the tree. He said, "Do it again."
Oh my god.
Like, I have achieved my goal. My son is not a scaredy cat.
Wow. I would not have the guts to do that. I mean, you're holding a chainsaw. Like, personally, like, I feel like I get worried that people might be able to use that, like, the holiday of it being Halloween to just do stuff, and I'm just like, I'm scared of like it being like an actual thing. But I think that's just entirely on me. But he stayed like that the whole entire time, right? Like, he's been fearless from what you're
yeah.
saying.
Absolutely. Right. I mean, like right now, if I was to get up and walk out, go to, because I live in a mobile home.
Mm-hmm.
If I was to get up out of my room, which is all the way in the back, and start walking toward the kitchen, I'd have to walk right past his room because his room is right on the other side of one of the walls that I have.
Mm-hmm.
He could be sitting there completely zoned out looking at things. I will still to this day stomp in there and scare him, and he'll jump up. "You scared the death out of me." Goes right back to what he was doing.
Well, I know we don't have much time much longer, so thank you for telling me all about, being a mom, what it means to be a mom. I do have two more questions I really want to ask the both of you.
Sure, okay.
And see, the perspective is so much more different from, like, say, someone who has had a 21-year-old child, the years of experience in there, and then also even just someone who's still has a young child. Like, it's a different, I guess, perspective from different points in life, I want to say.
Mhm.
If you had a chance to go back and tell your pregnant self, like, say that, like, in a point where you've hit that little point, you said that it's inevitable, it happens anyways, what would you tell your past self from that many years ago?
Nothing.
Nothing?
I would not change the way everything played out for anything. I wouldn't.
Ugh.
The ups, the downs, the good, the bad. I wouldn't change any of it.
I think I would give reassurance. Give reassurance because when I went through my pregnancy, I did so with myself and my husband, and that was it. I did not get the family support of having the baby showers and the lavish occasions and having the whole village be there at the hospital waiting to see your kid. I did not have that. And that's
Oh, I
hard
understand that.
on a young mother. That is very hard on a young mother, especially when you are hit with media that is constantly about, oh, look at the baby shower photos and all the gifts we got from family. And that's not to say that people can't appreciate having that experience. And I don't feel bitter towards other people that did. I'm just saying, from my perspective, as a mother that had to go through all of that alone, it really built me into who I am today and the resilience I have as a mother for my child. And in that time, I was very scared. I was very scared of what the outcome was going to be, bringing a child into the world that wouldn't have a village to support them and what that would feel and look like. So for me, like even now, it makes me emotional thinking about it because like we're still going through that to this day. I'm just more seasoned, I would say. But if I had to go back to the young me to say, hey, here's some advice, it would be you got this more than you think you do. Believe in yourself. It's going to be okay. And that sounds so cliche, but oh my God,
Well,
pregnant
see, something
women
like that, yes.
having
But
that
I wouldn't
reassurance.
say
No,
anything to change how it happened for
I
anything.
wouldn't change anything either because it made me who I am today. And it made me such a strong mom for my son and to be able to show him what being a mom is and what being, how to treat women, how to interact with them, how to treat family, how to treat each other, and how to love himself. And I think that that is the biggest lesson is I would probably just go back and be like, love yourself because you have to show him what it means to be able to define who you are and to be an individual who is strong. And it takes a lot of self-love. It really does. That would definitely be my message to younger me. That you got this more than you think you do every day.
I think,
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
yeah, I definitely agree with that because I've seen just, you know, as much as I see like, you know, media really talking about pregnancy, you know, and the perfect limelight and all whatnot, you know, as you mentioned, like there's always going to be low points. And I've seen some of the moms that I know that have those low points where they just really struggle. And it's so reassuring that someone's got your back. And even if you even when sometimes you have to be the one to pick up your own self up, and you know it gets hard, and you two are just so amazing for what you have really, you know, shared with us today, and to really talk about your experiences as being a mom. And it again, a shout out to my mom who is overseas right now. You know, I not to mention she had not one but two C-sections, both me and my brother. So to hear all this, it just really, like earlier I wasn't really talking as much while I was listening to the both of you, and it broke my heart just to hear the pain and suffering that it goes through. Like you could just talk about, hey, I had a C-section, I had this, I had that, but to hear the full details of what it takes to be able to just give birth. And I even heard that, like, you know, when I was in ninth grade gym class, they actually showed the girls a whole like birthing video. And I heard that birth is so traumatizing for the child that they cannot remember it at all. Like out of everything, out of all their memories, they can never remember how they were born because it's so traumatizing. but I can't imagine how much traumatizing it can be for not only for you, but for your body and for everything that follows after. And it speaks to the truth of what really means to be a mom. And I know there's a lot of those who are looking to be moms or still new moms who are probably lost, or even those who are considering parenthood. Just out of curiosity, do you have any advice for those who are considering parenthood, new to momhood, or even just going through the pregnancy?
Gosh. Though I would also consider there are a lot of moms out there that maybe didn't give birth either. They look after somebody and they adopt them or they take a child under their wing. That is a mother too. To me, advice to them, believe in yourself. It gets hard and you're going to second guess yourself all the time. It's going to happen. But stay true to your convictions. Don't let anyone sell you that you're any less for how you go about it or how you handle it. Again, it doesn't come with the manual. Parenting does not come with the manual, and that is the philosophy I will always stick with and give to everybody else. You are doing the best that you can, and that is a fact because it is your best, and nobody can sell that any less to you. And you will have days where you will second guess and you will question and you will wonder. And the fact of the matter is, your child is going to love you as long as you're there for them. They will be there for you. Guarantee it.
Yeah.
I would also add to that, if you're in a situation where you don't have the family support, you don't have the village that is going to stand next to you and help you with that baby, don't be afraid to reach out to people outside of
Yes.
that,
Yes.
outside of that group. Reach out to people, even if it's somebody you only know online. Reach
Yep.
out to somebody else, even if it's just for them to listen so you can vent and get all of the frustration and whatnot out. Reach out to somebody. Don't try to do it by yourself.
Oh my God, Kiyo, you're going to make me cry. Because that literally was the advice that I decided to follow this year. That is the advice I decided to follow this year. I've been trucking it alone. And like I said, with my husband deployed out, it has been just me and only me doing everything with every single hat you can think of. And I have no family to go and say, hey, can you watch my son for an hour while I go get a haircut? Or I need to go get groceries. Do you mind watching I don't do babysitters. I don't do daycare. It is my son and I, and we do things together all the time. And it took reaching out to our little village here to be like, hey, I'm having a day. Would you mind helping me out? That your advice, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I'm just going to say that now. Don't be scared to reach out for help. That is a big
I would
one.
also add on to it because I've seen a lot of people that, while they know what they're doing as a mom, they got it, they just go through it. It's something that they were born for. We'll also let people who I've raised a baby before, I know what I'm doing, and get walked all over. Do not be afraid to step up and say, "It's my baby, back the fuck off."
Exactly.
That.
Oh man, all the feels today, guys.
I'm like borderline already in my feels already because it's so like I have wanted to have I've always been on the fence about whether I wanted to be a mom one day or if I wanted to actually not just abstain from having a child. And really it's just so inspiring to go through what you do, and also to be able to give this advice because it's it's kind of like the way, in a way, unspoken, but yet it needs to be said. And
Also, in light of that as well, I would also say, if you want to be a mom, you do not actually have to get pregnant and carry that baby to
Yes.
term. You want
Yes.
to adopt, go adopt. There's plenty of kids out there that need a home that would just be thankful to be loved
Yes.
by somebody.
Yes. Yep. Yep. Preach.
You
Preach.
do not have to actually give birth
You
to
do
be a
not.
mother.
Exactly. You do not need to conceive a child to be a mother or to be a mother figure. to a child. There are so many children out there that are dying for someone to be able to call home. And you do not need to be biologically related to any child to be able to be a parent. Truly. So don't limit yourself. Don't consider yourself not a mom. You said you're a godmother. I would consider that being a mom. Absolutely.
I mean, it's also like I told Nico earlier this morning when she messaged me and told me Happy Mother's Day. I said it right back to her because her babies count.
That's true. You're taking care of a little personality.
There is a living, breathing thing, what be it
It
4
depends
legs
on
or
you.
2 legs, that looks to you for everything and anything.
Yep.
It's the same with a kid until
Single
they get
dad.
to us until they get to a certain point where they can, oh, you know what? I don't want to do this. I'm just going to go watch TV or I'm going to go play outside. Until they get to that point, you are their world. They need you for every single little thing to keep them alive and take care of them and show them that they're loved. You got to do the same thing with an animal.
It's very true.
Thank you both for these wise words and also the advice you've provided. It's definitely a lot to really consider and really to unpack. As much as I would like to dive more into your stories, I really wish. At first, I booked 1 hour with Sunny, and then when I asked Kiyo to join in, I was like, maybe I need 2 hours. But now that I've looking back at this whole entire podcast, I just feel like I should have asked for more. And
No
but
worries.
like on a special day like this, you two both need to be celebrated. You deserve to be celebrated, and all the mothers out there, the godmothers, like and also the stepmothers, the adoptive mothers, all of you out there deserve to be celebrated in every single way.
Also, stepmoms.
Stepmoms.
Stepmoms get a lot of hate because out of 50 stepmoms, there's probably 10 that are just completely cruel and horrible. But for every 10, there's going to be another 40 or 50 out there that actually have a consider themselves friends with the birth moms. And help take care of those kids, and they do stuff for those kids just like they were their own without stepping on anybody's toes. They deserve to be celebrated just for that.
Single dads who lost moms,
Yes.
who lost the mothers, don't have a mother in the picture,
Absolutely.
and it's just dad. You know what? They're holding up the house, playing mom, dad, everything. Celebrate them too.
The single
Definitely.
moms that don't have a dad in the picture get both holidays, and so do the dads.
Sure do.
Oh.
What a feel
What a
podcast.
feel. Well, we're gonna make sure that, so it is on my plan to-do list for next month to also tackle the dad side of the parenting and whatnot in the family. But for the both of you, thank you for being here today. I hope you get a chance after this to put up your feet and rest, or even like make sure, if you haven't eaten dinner, to make sure you eat something and enjoy time with your family. Unfortunately, that is the end of our podcast for today. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Karen.
Oh my goodness.
But stay tuned,
He
chat.
says thank you too.
Thank you. Stay tuned, chat. If you want something to listen to for the rest of the evening, we do have a lineup at the warehouse to listen to for some hip hop and R&B. With kicking us off is going to be JVC. But for now, thank you guys so much, and ladies, thank you. You are more than welcome to step out of the call, and I will see you in Discord and streams and future. Thank you.
Sure.
You're welcome. It's been fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
And for chat, that is all for Zaria's Cafe Corner. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are gonna head on over to JVZ. Here are the raid messages. If you are not subbed, you can use this message. If you are subbed, you can use this message. And we are gonna head on over there. Thank you guys so much for having the time to sit down with us and listen and even ask questions. And I hope you have a good rest of your evening. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.
Take care, everybody. Happy Mother's Day. Bye.
Happy Mother's Day.